Good morning.
Good morning.
Our opening words this morning are the new Colossus.
Well, I guess we're not on yet. Oh, now we're on. This
All
gets
right.
too slick for you, let us know.
Oh, yeah. People still getting. Okay.
Oh, we're not on.
Hello? Testing, testing, testing. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Hello? Is
All
that
right.
okay?
Yay.
Do we need to turn it up to 11? Okay. Yeah, right. All right.
Our opening words this morning are the new Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that Twin Cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuge of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I am an immigrant. I am a stranger in this place. Here but for the grace of God go I. I am an immigrant. I have left everything I own. Everything I've known, I say goodbye.
She said, give me your time. Don't you know I'm weary? When she said, give me your poor, she's talking to me. One of your huddled masses yearning to be free. And I never have lost sight of what this journey has been for. See how she lifts her lamp beside the golden door.
I am from Ireland. When the Frenchmen put us to the test, way into the west, like wild birds flying, we put our backs to the wheel, with a heart that always yearned for home. We made this place our own, and about died trying. She said,
give me your tired, don't you know I'm weary?
sing if you like. She
Said,
said,
give me your poor, she's talking to me. One of your huddled masses yearning to be free. And I never have lost sight of what this journey has been for. See how she lifts her lamp beside the golden door.
I am Chinese. I have worked your mills, your yards, and mines. I have laid your railroad lines with my two good hands. I am a Chicano. In your orchards and your fields, I have gathered
Tales from Kathmandu, I am the story. I am the long, long line. When you have forgotten that is true, I'm everything you knew. I am your glory. She said, give me your time. Don't you know we're weary? When she said, give me your pillow, she's talking to you and me. We are the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And we never must lose sight of what this journey has been for. As we lift her lamp beside the golden door. See how we lift her lamp beside the golden door.
Welcome to worship with the Universalist Unitarian Church of Peoria. My name is the Reverend Jennifer Innes. It is my great joy to be the minister serving with this congregation of people of all ages at all stages of life. This is a beloved community striving to live into its mission of embracing freedom, loving wholeheartedly, growing in mind, body, and spirit, and adding to the wholeness and the healing of the world. It is such a good day to be together. I want to welcome folks who are joining us today. We keep learning how powerful and how precious it is to add to our circle of care and support. So if you are new to us today, please, if you manage to get past the greeters without being said hello, go back and find them because they got name tags for you. We love the name tags because we want to get to know one another. And also, you're welcome to ask all the questions. And this is a moment when we will be just gathering together. It is just such an opportunity to be in this moment. And please stay after the service for coffee and conversation in Fellowship Hall. If you're joining us online, there will be probably a little Zoom conversation there as well. And let's see, I have a couple of notes. Oh, also, please be sure to check your devices wherever they are, because boy, they are everywhere these days, right? Check your devices to see if they are in worship mode. Of course, there we go. Yes, the phones in particular, the watches, I don't even know. Is it in your nose? We have electronic noses these days. I don't even know. So, we could. So, and certainly if it's a medical device that needs to stay on and loud, then by all means, we understand that as well. For today, I want to take a moment to welcome our wonderful special guests. This is Susan Urban and Phil Cooper. They are the music duo known as February Sky. They have been in the music for, a really long time. A very long time. And they come to us courtesy of kind of having been part of performing in Illinois, around the Chicago area, around the congregation where I used to serve in Geneva, near Chicago, before they moved up to the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. And it was our great joy to be able to receive them today because they played at Wildlife Prairie Park on Friday evening. So it's just a great opportunity to host, and yay for coming to Peoria. Thank you. Yep. And I have a couple of other notes. After service today, we have third or second in the series on storytelling for social change. That is with Nick Hall, will be noon in the conference room. And also as a note for this week, I think Friday night we have a movie night. It is truly a movie. It's going to be accessible for all ages, but come and roast things at 6:30. Hot dogs, marshmallows. I know we want more heat, right? But these are good reasons to have the heat on. And come, and then 8 o'clock we'll be starting. The movie will be out back near the fire pit. And let's see, so next Sunday is our annual Blessing of the Animals service. So I want to invite folks, if you have a creature, a being that is part of your life, and they can be kind of reasonably contained on a leash, in a case, something like that, you're welcome to bring them. We'll be in the sanctuary in person. Also, photos of your beloved creatures, whether on paper or on your phone, are also welcome as well. And I think right now I'm going to turn the service back over to Susan and Phil. Thank you.
All right, our opening congregational song is on the half sheet in your order of service.
And you don't know it, but you will.
But you will. It's really easy. We'll teach it to you. And most of those sheets are yellow, although I have a few that were on different colors. Not the green one. That one is the Unitarians can't sing hymns because they're looking ahead at the words sheet. But the yellow sheets, and a few of them are green or blue. It's Ain't Gonna Hate My Neighbor. So here we go. Play through an instrumental bit and then start singing. And I guarantee you will pick this up immediately. It's so easy. Very, very user-friendly.
Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Don't care what anybody says. I ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Commentator on the radio. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Says those immigrants have got to go. But I ain't gonna hate my neighbor. When my mother was lying in a hospital bed, ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Immigrant women kept her washed and fed. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Don't care what that commentator says. I ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Big time preacher on the TV screen. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Says he's got religion, but he's talking mean. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Says to hate Muslim, Catholic, and Jew. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. That's not what a good book says to do. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Don't care what that TV preacher says. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. My neighbor treats works as hard as I do. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Supports 3 kids and her mother too. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Her husband died in a homeland war. Ain't gonna hate my neighbor. The leader he was fighting for told him to hate his neighbor. She ain't gonna hate her neighbor. She don't care what anybody says. She ain't gonna hate her neighbor. We ain't gonna hate my neighbor. Her good book and my good book tell us to help our neighbor.
Will you join me for our unison chalice lighting, please? We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning. In celebration of this life we share together. It's always good when there's a moment to get back into the gear, right? We're getting back into gear. All right. One of the great strengths of being a beloved community is our mutual support. The members and friends make it possible for us to live into our mission and take care of the day-to-day operations, and to take care that we bring ourselves out into the world. And we do this through gifts of skill, of time, of financial contributions. It is remarkable. It is remarkable how we come together with such gifts and keep creating a body that brings us into deeper connection with one another and into greater service in our world. It is such a good thing to be together. And we also send a bit of our gifts out into the world through our Share the Plate program. About half of the undesignated plate on a given Sunday will be saved and sent to a local recipient doing good things here in the Peoria area. And for this month, it is the Hope Renewed Youth Conference. Hope Renewed Youth Conference provides scholarships to deserving candidates in teaching and law enforcement. And the idea is that this would enable folks to return to the community and to be of service with their neighbors. So I want to invite you to use the envelopes in the pews, indicate the use of your donation. And after the ushers pass the plates, will be a time for lighting of candles and reflection. So I also invite you to be in a moment of reflection as well and just simply enjoy this time together. And now I invite the ushers to please come forward.
The Wren.
It is. It is good. It is good to be. It is good to be here. It is good to be here together. Each Sunday as we gather as a congregation, we bring our joys and sorrows with us into this room. And when we ask for remembrance or celebration or honoring or prayer, we make of this sanctuary a sacred circle. We want to offer the joys and sorrows for this moment. Let me start with a joy. Let us congratulate Judith Corin Shanahan for having her art named as Best in Show at the Galesburg Civic Arts Center Members and Friends Show. So congratulations to Judith. Her particular piece is entitled "The Arc of the Universe is Long, but it Bends Toward Justice." Congratulations, Judith. We also have an invitation for care from Mitzi Nietzsche. She says, "Please keep my brother-in-law in your heart and thoughts as he rebuilds his life after a fire that destroyed everything he had." I'm so sorry to hear about that, Mitzi. It is devastating in its own particular way. Let us offer our care and hope for Mitzi's brother as he finds his way. I want to take one more moment in our time together in this moment, the one we know we have. There is so much that is in our hearts, on our minds, and a swirl in our world. Let us be present in this moment and take this time to breathe, recognizing how this may be the one moment we know we have. I invite you to pause and breathe with me together. Amen, shalom, salam, and blessed be. And now is for our time for all ages.
For our young people here, this is a little bit of a history lesson, but it won't be boring, I assure you. A lot of people, even older people, are not aware that in the 1950s and 1960s, Puerto Rican people were newly arrived in America. And they were, yes, very much discriminated against and unfairly treated. And arose from that a wonderful musical called West Side Story. and this is from the movie. Now, I am young enough to remember when the movie first came out in the theaters, and we all went to see it. And I saw it so many times that I memorized all the music in it. So if you remember this song, feel free to sing along. And the two characters are Anita and Bernardo. Anita really likes it in America, and Bernardo is not quite so sure. So, little conversation.
I like to be in America. Okay, by me in America. Everything free in America. For a small fee in America.
Buying on credit is so nice.
One look at us and they charge twice.
I have my own washing machine.
What will you have to keep clean? Skyscrapers boom in America. Cadillacs zoom in America. Industry boom in America. 12 in a room in America.
Lots of new housing with more space.
Lots of doors slamming in our face.
I'll get the terrace apartments.
You better get rid of your accent. Life can be right in America. If you can fight in America. Life is alright in America. If you're all white in America.
Here you are free and you have pride.
As long as you stay on your own side.
Free to be anything you choose.
Free to wait tables and shine shoes. Everywhere crime in America. Organized crime in America. Terrible time in America.
You forget I'm in America.
I think I'd go back to San Juan.
I know a boat you can get on. Bye-bye.
Everyone there will give good cheer.
Everyone there will have moved here.
I like to be in America. Okay, by me in America. Everything free in America. For a small fee in America.
That's right, down with the empire. Rock on. Thank you very much. And now I invite us to sing our children and youth to class with their adults so they can have their program for today. Let us sing Go Now in Peace.
Go
Now in peace. Go now in peace.
May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
All right, in the middle of the 19th century.
The song first.
No. Need an intro to it. In the middle of the 19th century, Ireland lost an eighth of its population to famine and another eighth to emigration. Because the trip across the Atlantic was dangerous and usually one way, emigrants' families would hold an American wake for them on the eve of their departure. The gathering resembled a true wake, except that the honoree got to participate. And as always, this one has an easy chorus. Anything you feel like singing on, knock your socks off, as they
Yeah.
say.
You don't have to, but yeah.
You don't have to, but you may.
Farewell to my dear ones, just like a one bound. I'll not be one more that she'll lay in the ground. It's early tomorrow, my leave I must take, but tonight we will have an American wake. Oh, the plight of our country was never so bad. There's no work to be found and no bread to be had. I've nothing to hope for and nothing to fear, and leave nothing behind me but all I hold dear. Farewell, my good friends, you will see me no more, unless we should meet on America's shore. Don't cry for me, mother, no tears for my sake. I'll be raising a glass with you at my own way. Now few men are granted the chance for to know what good men will say of them after they go. And I'm lucky indeed to be present to see the tears that the lasses are crying for me. And if there is any that bears me bad will, I pray you'll forgive and not speak of me. Wish me good luck as I take to the seas, and after I'm gone you can say what you please. Farewell, my good friends, you will see me no more, unless we should meet on America's shore. Don't cry for me, mother, no tears for my sake. I'll be raising a glass with you at my own way. I'm going down to Sligo that lies on the bay. I'll be boarding my coffin and sailing away to where shillings lie thicker than shells on the strand. And I'll grab me a shovel and I'll send what I can. And if I should prosper, it's home I'll return with a coach and 4 horses and money to burn. But if it should happen, I've never the means. I will wander these hills every night in my dreams. Farewell, my good friends, you will see me no more, unless we should meet on America's shore. Don't cry for me, mother, no tears for my sake. I'll be raising a glass with you at my own way. Though heaven lies distant from Dublin or Cork, it's closer, they say, than the docks of New York. But wherever I am when I venture ashore, I'll be welcomed by those that have got there before. If my ship it should founder, I pray I may see the harbor of paradise waiting for me. If I land in that other place, I'll not despair. God knows I'll find plenty of Irishmen there. Farewell, my good friends, you will see me no more, unless we should meet on America's shore. Don't cry for me, mother, no tears for my sake. I'll be raising a glass with you at my own way. Farewell, my good friends, you will see me no more, unless we should meet on America's shore. Don't cry for me, mother, no tears for my sake. I'll be raising a glass with you at my own way.
Now, that is a song by Zoe Mulford, who is a wonderful, wonderful UU songwriter. We have used her songs in countless services. She's very well known for The President Sang Amazing Grace, and also for a song called Life is Too Short to Fold Underwear. She has many sides. We continue to live in times in which many Americans believe that, quote, people pouring in is a terrible thing, and that these people should be kept out at all costs. The 2021 power shift in our country stopped these sentiments from being expressed at our highest level of leadership. But now somehow things have shifted back, and many still believe that immigration to the United States needs to be discontinued or at least sharply curtailed. Many of these people express resentment that immigrants should come here and, quote, have everything we have, end quote. Many immigrants actually did believe, like the young man in the American Wake song, that America was a place where shillings lie thicker than shells on the strand. Unfortunately, for most new immigrant groups, this was hardly what they found. For those of us who believe that it's part of the American tradition to welcome refugees and other people fleeing poverty and tyranny, it's been upsetting to see these people denied entry to our country, and equally upsetting to see others, some of whom have been here for decades, sent back to where they came from and unjustly imprisoned. But this is not the first time this has happened. Phil and I substitute teach part-time in the Eastern Upper Peninsula. Sometimes we talk with students studying the civil rights movement. When we point out that the Irish faced prejudice and discrimination when they first came to America, these students are astonished and sometimes incredulous, since the Irish and Irish culture are now so deeply woven into the fabric of American life. Much of the following information is excerpted from an article at history.com entitled, When America Despised the Irish, the 19th Century's Refugee Crisis. Here is a quote from that article. The Irish refugees seeking haven in America were poor and disease-ridden. They threatened to take jobs away from Americans and strain welfare budgets. They practiced an alien religion and pledged allegiance to a foreign leader. They were bringing with them crime. They were accused of being rapists. Sound familiar? There is no doubt that the conditions the Irish faced in their native land following the potato famine of 1845 were horrific. You can look this up for information if you want to. But today we will focus on what happened when they arrived in America. So for many Americans, the worst thing about these millions of Irish immigrants was that they were Catholic. Another excerpt from When America Despised the Irish. According to Conspiracy Theories in American History, an encyclopedia, some Protestants feared the Pope and his army would land in the United States, overthrow the government, and establish a new Vatican in Cincinnati. They believed the Irish would impose the Catholic canon as the law of the land. Like other immigrants, the new Irish in America ended up with the most dangerous and tedious jobs, often at low pay. This kept them poor and living in overcrowded housing. Newspaper ads and help wanted signs blatantly stated in bold letters, "No Irish need apply." The Irish were depicted by cartoonists as ape-like creatures of low intelligence, and secret societies whose members wanted a return to the America they once knew, a land of, quote, temperance, liberty, and Protestantism, sprouted across the country. Again, from When America Despised the Irish. Within a few years, these societies coalesced around the anti-Catholic, anti-immigrant American Party, whose members were called the Know-Nothings because they claimed to know nothing when questioned about their politics. Party members vowed to elect only native-born citizens, but only if they weren't Roman Catholic, since they believed that Protestantism defined American society. Buoyed by the war cry, Americans must rule America, the American Party elected 8 governors, more than 100 congressmen, and a number of mayors of major cities in the mid-1850s. They found their greatest success in the now extremely liberal state of Massachusetts, where in 1854 the American Party captured all state offices, the entire state Senate, and all but a handful of seats in the House chamber. Once in power in Massachusetts, the party mandated the reading of the King James Bible in public schools. Sounds familiar again. Disbanded Irish militia units while confiscating their weapons, and deported nearly 300 poor Irish back to Liverpool because they were a drain on the public treasury. They also barred naturalized citizens from voting unless they had spent 21 years in the United States. Former President Millard Fillmore ran on the American Party's 1856 presidential ticket. Although Fillmore finished third behind Democrat James Buchanan and Republican John C. Fremont, who had to swat down rumors that he was both a Catholic and a cannibal, the American Party received more than 20% of the popular vote and 8 electoral votes. Anti-immigrant and anti-Catholic riots and violence continued for some time, including the notorious Bloody Monday riots in 1855. Once again, you can look that up, for which no one was ever prosecuted. In an 1855 letter, Abraham Lincoln, please excuse the non-inclusive language, wrote, "As a nation, we began by declaring that all men are created equal. We now practically read it, all men are created equal except Negroes. When the Know-Nothings get control, it will read, all men are created equal except Negroes and foreigners and Catholics. When it comes to this, I should prefer emigrating to some country where they make no pretense of loving liberty. To Russia, for instance, where despotism can be taken pure and without the base alloy of hypocrisy." In time, the nativist concerns were overridden by the issues of the Civil War. Also, the new Irish took to the ballot box in huge numbers and began electing Irish Catholic politicians all over the country. They worked hard, and many entered the middle class, just as an influx of immigrants from China and Southern and Eastern Europe began. Unfortunately, rather than offering these people a warm welcome, the Irish, now in power, began to paint them as the newest menace to American society. And so it goes to this day. Interestingly enough, a total of approximately 300,000 Ukrainian refugees have arrived in the U.S. since the Russian invasion began. Many Ukrainian refugees in the U.S. have temporary legal status, and some may face challenges as that status expires. NPR reported that the president's administration is considering revoking temporary legal status for some Ukrainian refugees, who are mostly white and Christian. One last quote from When America Despised the Irish. "The refugees from the Great Hunger and the 32 million Americans with predominantly Irish roots today strengthen the United States, not destroyed it. A country that once reviled the Irish now wears green on St. Patrick's Day. That's something to raise a glass to."
As many of us would say, we are all immigrants. Very few people of European descent can claim they came here on the Mayflower. My dad's side of the family can trace its ancestry in this country to something like 1862, His great-grandparents met on a boat coming over from Germany. My mom's side was even more recent. Her father was born in Sweden in the 1890s. From what little he ever said about Sweden, they were poor farmers, and they came over on the Carpathia, the ship that picked up some of Titanic survivors, though not on Grandpa's voyage in the early 1900s. My Swedish great-grandparents pushed the children to assimilate into the American culture. While my grandparents spoke Swedish to their parents, they did not teach it to their children. The idea was that since their only memories of their lives in Sweden were of poverty, they were going to adjust to living here. Even when offered a free trip back to Sweden, my grandparents declined to go. While they did hold on to some customs and food choices, who else would want to eat lutefisk? And they continued the Swedish tradition of celebrating Christmas on Christmas Eve rather than Christmas Day. They sought to mainstream themselves. My mother never spoke Swedish as a child, though one of her grandmothers refused to speak to the grandchildren in anything but Swedish. Not all cultural assimilations are easy. My mother was always afraid of being left alone with that grandmother because she could never understand her. My grandfather never really spoke of discrimination for being Swedish, though my uncle once said that a lot of Swedes that were referred to as bohunks in the teens and 20s of the 20th century. This probably inspired many to learn to assimilate. My grandparents in the 1960s and 70s were certainly quite willing to view newer immigrants as outsiders who really didn't fit in.
The probable reason why Swedish immigrants in the 19th and early 20th centuries did not face quite as much in the way of discrimination as other ethnic groups besides being white and Protestant was that Swedish people were among the first settlers of this country. However, like other immigrants, many did face back-breaking hard work, almost as tough as what they left behind in Sweden. In addition to suffering shoddy living and working conditions, not all immigrants were able to forget the beauty and the way of life, not to mention the family and friends that they left behind in the old country. So compassion for the trials and tribulations of people newly arrived in this country is called for on many levels. The Old Land is Ever on My Mind was written for my always homesick grandmother, Polish grandmother. I was born out on a peasant farm in 1899, back in Poland, not too far from Germany.
Though we never had much money, still the earth she kept us well. And the love of working with the land was always part of me. And the old land is out on my mind.
Then the Great War took my brothers, never saw those boys again. We could hear the shells 100 miles away.
So my parents drank my hair together, choked away the tears, as their only daughter left their homeland, the USA. And the old land is ever on my mind.
I was just a poor ox girl. My age was 14 years. I would scrub and clean for 16 hours a day. I
Could never breathe the sweet fresh air, or walk out in the sun. And when bedtime came, my weary frame upon 2 chairs I lay. And the old land is ever on
Now my husband was a drunken brutal gambler of a man. I was sold to him in payment of a loan.
Soon I had a son and daughter. He would beat us every night. So I sent my kids to an orphanage and raised them alone. And the old land is ever on my mind.
Then I found work in a sweatshop. It was dark and dingy there, sewing coats and suits for 50 cents a day.
And in time I scraped enough to bring my children home. And I bought for us a 2-block with a yard where they could play. And the old land is ever on my mind.
Now the sweatshop that was life to me for 40 years and more, and the piecework always racing with the clock.
Look, my hands are scarred and ugly from the times I've sold them through. I would stem the blood with a dirty rag and never even stop. And the old land is ever on my mind.
My son passed on at 25, a failure of the heart, but the saddened were the ending of his days.
My daughter went her own way, and we hardly ever speak. She complains that I'm not modern, but I cannot change my ways. And the old land is ever on my mind.
Now I've grown too old for piecework, so I putter around this place. When I farm the tiny yard I call my own.
Now I wonder if I should have stayed back in the old country. For I still think half in Polish, and my heart is yet at home. And the old land is ever on my mind. Us versus them is certainly something that seems to have survived through the ages. When the Irish came over to America, they were looked down upon. There are Irish songs that were written about how bad it was that the Italians came in later, taking jobs from Irish people. One line was, "Bad luck to them Italians, why couldn't they stay at home?" Listening to current talk on immigration does not make it sound like we're any more enlightened as a nation than we were 150 years ago. My parents always used to try to be examples to us kids of how you're supposed to be tolerant of new people coming to this country. Even back when my dad was still a Republican, he would sometimes take us out to dinner with the coworker's family who happened to be from Iran. I recall being very impressed by the way the wife of that family fixed rice. When you're a kid, a lot of things impress you. Still haven't tasted anything duplicating it. Teaching tolerance one small step at a time can leave room for hope.
My mother and father were not as tolerant as Phil's family. As I look back at what I heard from them about others, I can honestly say that they were not prejudiced. They hated everybody the same. Their parents came from Eastern Europe, and my mom and dad were among the first generation to be born in this country. So I'm not sure where they picked up the idea that every immigrant group was inferior. They even had nasty things to say about people who were members of their own ethnic groups if they were newly arrived in America. Maybe this comes from insecurity. Maybe looking down on others makes someone feel better about themselves. And I have never understood this. It always seemed to me that people were people. And once I got old enough to think for myself, I rejected my parents' irrational prejudice. So when and how do we start to put an end to this? Well, we're here this morning to tell you that it starts with us. We are Unitarian Universalists who covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We can speak out when we hear hate talk. We can teach our children that all people must be treated with kindness, regardless of their ethnicity. We can run for office and support people running for office whose values reflect our own. The list of all the small things we can do to promote tolerance in our country could go on and on. One that I want to add is work for voting rights. So let us not be discouraged. This country has been through this before, and we survived. We will survive again. Hopefully, this challenging time is the final gasp of an era of intolerance and the beginning of a new era of kindness and understanding. It's in our hands and begins with each of us. Blessed be. Now, this is a song by David Massengill, a wonderful songwriter. And this is a relation of a true incident. And he told us that when it comes to the part where it refers to the white trash from Tennessee, that was him.
He supported his music habit working in the kitchen.
Yeah. Joe's boss of the kitchen, but on the outside, you know, the old man on the totem is wearing giveaway clothes.
Wearing giveaway clothes.
Joe, he fights the good fight. He wears a white uniform. The waiter's all honest about chasing unicorns.
Oh, chasing unicorns.
Joe threw another tantrum. He could not be understood. He cries like baby Samson. His English is not good.
Oh, his English is not good.
Joe works 14 hours. After 10, he starts to booze. He gets very sentimental. He sings the Buddha blues.
Oh, he sings the Buddha blues. My name Joe. My name Joe. There is a king in Thailand. He plays the jazz drums. He has a fine and healthy son. Oh no, I'm not the one. My name Joe.
On the wall by the time clock,
horse was blackness.
Then the owner called immigration, said there's someone you should know. He's an illegal alien, and I think his name is Joe.
Oh, I know his name is Joe. My name Joe. My name Joe. There is a king in Thailand. He plays the jazz drums. He has a fine and healthy son. Oh no, I'm not the one.
Came that man from immigration. He said I got a job to do. Easy questions, easy answers. Just point me to the kitchen crew.
Point me to the kitchen crew.
He asked Leroy from Harlem. He asked Cisco from Mexico. He asked the white trash from Tennessee. They all said my name Joe. My name Joe.
My name Joe.
The immigration man, he sputtered. The kitchen grew their own. Then while they were arguing, Joe slipped out the back door. Joe slipped out the back door. Down the beach, Joe tries to listen to the heartbeat of the whale. How it echoes through my heart. In the distance he has sailed. Oh, the distance he has sailed.
My name Joe. My name Joe. There is a king in
Thailand. He plays the jazz drum. He has a fine and healthy son. Oh no, I'm not the one. My name My name Joe. All right, please stand as you are comfortable for our closing congregational, which you probably already know. This is a fairly well-known song. If not, it's easy again. Okay, we're going to play the melody line through, and then we'll start singing, and then you may do so as well. Somos abajo,
Somos el mar.
We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me. The stream sings into the river sings to the sea. The sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me.
Somos el
barco, somos the one to go in tea. The sea are sailing on touches every sun. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. So with our hopes we raise the sails to face the wind once more, and with our hearts we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. Please be seated.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
John McCutcheon, who wrote our opening song today, he tells of visiting his parents one year when their neighborhood 4th of July celebration was going on. Now, everyone in John's family is a lover of sweets. They just don't fight it. So he went right up to that dessert table, but his mother was standing there by his shoulder saying, "Now, John, you go pick some real food." And on that dessert table, he passed up the world's finest pecan pie. He just knew it was the world's finest pecan pie, even though he had never actually had a piece of it, to go and get some real food. So once he had his plate loaded, John decided that he was just going to swing by the dessert table, and lo and behold, someone had accidentally pushed that plate of pecan pie behind the watermelon, and there was one piece left. So with trembling hands, he went over to the trash bin to see what he was going to jettison from his overflowing plate to make room for that piece of pecan pie. It was only then that John looked down on that plate and surveyed what he had assembled. There was a piece of fried chicken, some chitlins, a burrito, some beautiful homemade pasta, an egg roll, Irish stew, a Polish sausage, and sushi. Now his first instinct was, like you, to be disgusted. But then he just looked down and he thought, "Happy birthday, America."
On the first day of January, 1892, they opened Ellis Island and they let the people through. And the first to cross the threshold of that Isle of Hope and Tears was Annie Moore from Ireland, who was only 15 years. Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, Isle of Freedom, Isle of Fears. but it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. In a little bag she carried all her past and history, and her dreams for the future in the land of liberty. And courage is the passport when your old world disappears. But there's no future in the past when you're 15 years. Isle of hope, isle of tears, isle of freedom, isle of fears, but it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. When they closed down Ellis Island in 1943, 17 million people had come there for sanctuary. And it's springtime when I came here, and I stepped onto its piers, thought of how it must have been when you're 15 years. Isle of hope, isle of tears, isle of freedom, isle of fears, but it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Phil and Susan. We really appreciate it. Thank you.